Hey y'all, hey, welcome to Melvina Motivates, the podcast. In this space, we are going to laugh, cry, but mostly heal and laugh some more. It is my goal to take you from stuck to your absolute greatest by sharing my personal healing journey with you. I am clear that my life's purpose is to be a safe space and place for others so that they can return to their true self. Hop along for the ride. You won't be disappointed. So again, welcome to Melvina Motivates, the podcast. All right, welcome back, everybody. This is episode 3, and I am so excited to be here with everyone once again. Man, so much to share. So based on this episode, my birthday was a few weeks ago, March 24th. Whoop, whoop, Aries in the house. Hey. And I was able to treat myself to a much needed getaway. I didn't go anywhere far, but I was able to go over to the DMV area to go visit with a dear friend of mine, and was able to get a bonus visit in there, which was with my friend of 20 plus years, Miles. I was so happy to see him. He was able to come pick me up from the airport. I live in Chicago, so I was able to fly into Baltimore. He, resided there for a little bit of time. And so he came to pick me up. We were able to go out and have some really good eats. Miss Shirley's was one of them. So if you're familiar with Miss Shirley's, you know what it was like. If you're not familiar with Miss Shirley's, if you go to Baltimore, check her out because her food was amazing. I was able to spend the rest of the time there with my homegirl, Jalea. She was an amazing host. Okay, she opened up her home to me. She allowed me to have her bedroom. Go her, ooh, right? And we were able to just have a really amazing time. I was able to travel from Baltimore, visit the DC area. She lived in Maryland or lives in Maryland. And we also was able to go and have some fun over in Virginia. So it was a really good time. I had such a ball, and I was able to slide my way into spring break. This birthday is pretty important to me. I made 33 this year. And you guys, if you're followers and believers, of Christianity, you guys are aware, Jesus had started his ministry at 33. So I think that's what's happening here, if I do say so myself. So I'm excited for the ride with that. This year, I received an immense amount of cake. I got tons of cake for my birthday this year. So much that I really couldn't eat it all. I had to share some of my cake, a lot of cake, cake galore. My now additional sisters, they were able to shower me with tons of cake, beautiful gifts from, my essentially my nieces and nephews, right? Which was amazing. And I had a really beautiful birthday. I really did. Can't complain about that at all. Shout out to my mom and, my entire family for just loving on me and everybody who made that a big deal. So shout out to the 33rd birthday. It was a pretty good one, if I do say so myself. Following my birthday, I've been working out. I'm so serious about Q2 and my fitness goals and my health and well-being goals. I really desire to be in optimum shape for several reasons. Reason number 1, I want to be able to play with my son. That's pretty important to me. Him being an overly active 4-year-old, I need to be able to hang. and play. And so I'm not able to do that quite yet, but I'm working on it. So as of March 31st, I had started with riding my stationary bike that I have at home. And I'm not going to lie, I got on it for only about 10 minutes and the resistance was at 3. That damn 10 minutes almost killed me. I was like, ouch. But as of to date, I've been able to grow stronger in my exercising routine. I've been committed for the month of April to consistently work out every single day this month, whether I want to or not, riding my bike or any form of cardio and exercise of my choice for a minimum of 20 minutes. So I've been doing a really good job in tracking and documenting that. So you can follow me on Instagram at Melvina Motivates. You can see my reels, listen, peep my stories, see the sweat, the juices and stuff that I've been making with my juicer and all of those things. So I'm so serious about my health, which is a great segue. I'm so serious about my health tonight. Do you hear me, guys? Tonight, you all will be able to catch me live in a live interview with Dr. Joe on his YouTube channel. I'm going to pull that information up for you guys now. You can go to, as I find the picture, because I was so excited, I screenshot the information. So Dr. Joe's channel on YouTube is Journey Life TV, and I'll be featured on his channel talking about my health journey. And the goal is to be able to become one of the participants in his group so that I can continue to expand on that. So I'm really excited about that. And I hope you guys desire to see what that's all about and join me there. Again, that's going to be today, Sunday, April 11th at 5:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're on the East Coast, it'll be 6:00. And, depending on where you are, starting from Eastern Standard Time or Central Standard Time, do your own math. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about that. So, okay, let's make this transition. So tonight, I want to get into the truth and the whole truth of my journey. This past week, I've been truly inspired by a couple of things that I had just been listening to and conversations that I've had with close friends, just in solitude with myself. I don't know about you, but for me, I get a lot of revelations from whenever I'm in the shower or tub or anything like that. And I had just been meditating on what it is that I wanted to bring forth in the third episode here. And it hit me like a ton of bricks while I was taking a bath that I just need to go into the whole truth about my story. One thing that really helped to prompt it, I listened to a podcast. If you guys are familiar with the Dear Future Wifey podcast, the latest episode featured a woman who had experienced severe and extreme sexual abuse and trauma. And for me, that was enough confirmation to just, go ahead and tell the whole truth. So as you guys know, yes, I am a proponent to making sure that I provide and be a safe space for others. But where did that come from? Why is safety important for me? I'm going to take you guys to one of the initial things that was discussed in my first therapy session. In that therapy session, my spiritual mom, she goes through all of the initial checks and balances in this session. And, she was able to ask me some questions, and me being who I am, I'm able to give her the most advanced intellectual answers. And again, these were very surface answers. She was able to see right through it. And as we were in the midst of concluding our very first session, she leaves me with these words. She says, Melvina, I want you to understand that you are your first line of safety. And I pause here because I was like, the hell is she talking about? But I remembered getting home and taking a Post-it and writing that down. I've moved since our first session. I'm sure I have it somewhere in a box. I just, I don't have it handy, but I'll never forget that. Her sharing with me that I am my first line of safety. When she first shared that with me, I had no idea what she was talking about. Because growing up in the home that I grew up in, I did experience a lot of sexual abuse, a lot of sexual inappropriateness. And I know that some people, that may be hard for you to hear. And I want you to take a moment now, if me diving into this part of my story is going to be a trigger for you, or this is something you may not be able to handle, I'm going to tell you now. You might as well pause or fast forward through this, okay? This is just me being as candid as I possibly can, and taking you through literally my journey and what brought me to this place of healing, and why it's very important for me as I proceed. So again, my spiritual mom, she gives me this bold statement. And I had no idea what to do with the statement, because I'm like, what did she mean? And with her sharing that with me, letting me know that I'm my first line of safety, that was something that I was so unaware of, that as an adult, I believe at the time I was 28. Yeah, I was 28 because I was still pregnant with Matt when she shared this with me. That sounded so foreign to me. And it's like, how the hell how am I my own first line of safety? But what she was tapping into was a simple fact, or, on a forward thinking, or a forward lesson, right? She wanted to put that out there first as we were working together, so that I could circle back to that, right? And what do I mean by that? She knew that I had to hear that first. So as we were diving deeper into it, this would be a place of foundation for myself. So she had to get that out the way. And with her doing that, as I've gone through the last 5 years of my own work, I can go back to that very moment of her saying that. She had to speak to the healed and adult Melvina first, before we can backtrack, right, to little girl Melvina, who had experienced the sexual abuse, who did not experience any safety, right? So let's get into it. There was a family member, and, who I grew up around, who had constantly, we're talking perpetually, had me in a state of fear, because I just was never sure when the next inappropriate gesture, comment, remark, move would be made. And no one needs to live under those conditions, like literally no one. Because I understand that there's been a lot of implications to that when it comes down to my mindset, how my lens was tampered with, something that at some point was abnormal had become my normal. The time at which all of this had taken place, this all transpired from the time I was 9 all the way up till I was 26. Gasp. 26. And in these moments, what I would experience was we would, as a family, we're running around a house, and we would get to certain parts of the home, and there was, touching of the breast, or, of the butt, or, those close, intimate, hugs where you grab your girl close and put her around put your arms around her waist and things of that nature. And at the moment being groomed to be told that this is how we play, it's okay. I'm just playing, right? And to hear this from a figure that is supposed to be respected or was playing a parental role, it of course left me so confused. And again, from winks and from, coming up from behind while I'm washing dishes and kissing me on my neck or things of that nature. I remembered vividly, my memories had started coming back to me while I was taking a bath this week. And I'm not gonna lie, I had gotten to the point, guys, that I had suppressed that part of my life. Really, I have. And as I'm sitting in this tub, things were just coming to me, because when I came to this point in doing this third session, this third podcast, I wanted it to be as transparent as possible. And so as these flashbacks are coming, just being in our family's pool, and mom leaves, and across the other side, you have someone who's supposed to be, again, a parental figure winking at me or making comments about my shape. You have gestures such as I'm washing dishes, you're coming up again from behind and you're kissing me on my neck, and all of those things. And I'm saying I don't like this, but these things continue to transpire. Again, being at play, and the hands are already stretched out in position to touch my breast, and it's like, wait, I know this shit not supposed to be happening. But when I would say something about it, nothing was done. I was going to try to, sugarcoat it. But in general, nothing was done. And when I say nothing, I mean this person was able to still be in my presence in the home that essentially never felt like home. Being asked or told to, hey, why don't you come and take a look at this pornography video? We're talking, I'm in 7th and 8th grade, right before going to school, or even 6th grade. I hated going down to our basement. I absolutely hated it. I really did. Because that's where a lot of this stuff would transpire. And so then coming upstairs, trying to get a sense of refuge, or, trying to tell, right, of what was going on. And again, for this person to still be a part of this home, this house, this family, in quotes, it really had left things for me to be confused. It really did, there was a very appalling situation that had transpired. I remembered going to put some laundry away, and I had remembered seeing this person, literally on their knees, looking as though they were about to perform oral sex on my oldest sister. And I was like, whoa, shit has gone way too far, way too far. I remembered writing my mother a note and putting it where I knew she would see it when she was getting up going to work. And she came and she woke me up, and I told her about it, and to see my mom try to handle the situation, in which and how she handled it, I'm not gonna lie, it blew me. It blew me because I remember her sharing with me, her just honestly first trying to wrap her mind around what the hell had been going on in her home, right, under her nose, and her trying to figure out, well, what the fuck was she gonna do? Because at the time she had pretty much just had my youngest sister, Carly, and mind you, she done already had 3 other kids, by 2 different men. And that just wasn't the story she wanted to continue adding on to her life by, not being with, at least one of these men. And she happened to choose the man that she chose, right? And so we're all telling her about it, and she's questioning, well, why didn't you say something sooner? And we're all like, we did try to tell you, we did try to tell you. And she like, when? And we, like on this time and then that time and then this time. And one of the responses that stood out to me was 2 things. I remembered there was blame that was put on to my oldest sister. And that really had me confused because I was like, I don't think she had fault here, right? I remembered her crying, just, oh my God, Mom, I'm sorry. And I was just like, what's happening? And then in the conversation, as we're trying to heal and rectify this situation to the best of our ability as a family, right? I remember my mom sharing with us how she was a woman first. And at 12 years old, I don't think I was very clear about exactly what that meant, but I began to have my own translations about it. But one thing I can say is in that moment, just that phrase made me feel as though I really didn't matter, or that as her children, we didn't come first. We didn't matter. And over the years, I had seen my mom really wrestle with how to move forward in this situation. And, she had shared with me years later how there had been counseling and things of that nature. But again, we're talking from 9 to 26. And, once I had became an adult, there were things like inappropriate comments such as, hey, me and my friends, we were saying how you have a nice butt. I'm sorry, what? Who says this? Or I could have been doing some work on a computer, and then these inappropriate kisses that are coming my way, and it's just like, no. Then turning around seeing this person play victim as though they weren't the ones trying to cause harm to me. And there have been so many implications that had came from that. My mindset when it came down to my personal relationships or my intimate relationships, you can imagine I'm pent up with a lot of anger. There was really, at the time, no outlet for me to be enraged. And for some who may be questioning, well, why did this happen all the way up to 26? Well, I ended up wanting to stay at home just to serve as protection, to assure, right, that no one else that was near and dear to my heart had to experience that. I didn't want that for anyone else. And so that was that. I mean, there was a period in which I was gone because I did go to undergrad and I did live on campus, but then this unction to want to stay a little bit longer to assure that, my youngest sister, didn't have to experience that. The unpacking that comes with being sexually abused, this shit is deep. It's really deep. It has an impact on your perception about things. It help you find yourself creating a faux self, a pseudo you just to survive. Outside, I was a very happy person. People remembered me growing up being cheerful. They really did. Oh, Melvina was always happy. But I'm telling y'all, like deep down inside, I was crumbling, okay, with a capital C, crumbling. And I really didn't have any concrete guidance on how to handle things. When I first, got into undergrad, I think by my sophomore, definitely by junior year, I had gone to seek counseling. I really did. The first counselor that I saw, I ended up stopped seeing them because her goal was to, report it and, get the police involved. And then as I was sitting in a tub, guys, I was just like, damn, though this harm was happening to me, I was still willing in my own way. Number one, I wanted to protect my mom. I didn't want to, put her into anything though, right? Though I was put into some things. And to some degree also protecting the predator, that's what I was doing. So then I stopped going to that counselor. I was like, oh no. But then I ended up going into seeing another counselor, and we were able to begin doing some of the unpacking. But I will say that if anyone has experienced sexual abuse, like when you're going into counseling, you already have trust issues, right? And it's hard for you to really let your guard down in order for you to get the help that you need. And I was one of those people. But with the second counselor, she was able to be gentle and give me wise counsel and help me to point out things about me that I just wasn't aware of. Number one, the weight. I had started gaining weight at a very fast pace prior to leaving undergrad. Part of it was due to birth control, but another part of it was I was trying to protect myself. So if I didn't have this silhouette that was all that in a bag of chips, if you know me from back in the day, I didn't want the attention that my silhouette was giving me. I was an athlete. I ran track. If you know how a track woman's body is built, okay, we're talking amazing legs. You absolutely have a butt, small waist. Not too many girls who ran track were very heavy chested. We were itty bitty titty committee. We were, for the most part. But we had a small waist, big butt, thick thighs, all of that. So I was built. And I felt that for me, right, before I really had got more help and counseling and healing, that my shape was my fault as to why this was happening to me. So I'm gaining this weight, and at some point it never stopped. Even with the weight gain, because I had such a good foundation in my shape, even as I was gaining weight, all I did was just get thicker. That's it, thicker in all the right places. Okay. On top of, at that point, being sexually involved, all that did was just spread hips even more. Again, thick in all the right places. And at some point, the weight had gotten pretty heavy, and the abuse did not stop. And I'm sharing this with you guys because I want you guys to be very clear about why safety is important to me. Safety is a real thing for me. If you're in my space, you can assure that you are safe. You are safe to be yourself. You are safe to cry. You are safe to unpack. You're safe to be you. I was not given that opportunity at all, but I had to fight for that opportunity. And when I say fight, I mean honestly saying to myself that I will not allow my sexual abuse to rob me of what is left of my life. So I began to seek out therapy, not any kind of therapy, but psychoanalytical therapy. This is the type of therapy that really goes in deep and helps you to rewire your brain. The questions that I would be, asked during these sessions were thought-provoking, that made me have to look outside of my family's dysfunctional cycles and really question, well, what the hell? What the hell are we doing? Or why was this a thing? And really begin the disassociation, right? We talked a lot about circular causality. We've gone over tons of theories, but I was able to experience safety that I'd never had before with my spiritual mother, in order for her to help me unpack, right? And I've been able to make some amazing strides in this healing process. I've been able to take my power back, y'all. I remember there was one coach that I was with, and she's a friend of mine to this day. She gave me a homework assignment, and she was like, I need you to go ask this man, why did he sexually assault you? And I was like, you want me to do what? She was like, yeah, I want you to do that. Because she was clear that I was robbed of my power. And I did it. And the look that was on this person's face and the stuttering and all that other stuff, I didn't know what was going to happen when I asked. But when I was in the moment and it was happening, what was happening was me gaining my power back, y'all. My voice, I'm able to do Melvina Motivates, the podcast, because of this fight for my healing. I'm so committed to my personal healing, y'all. I'm committed to it because I want to be able to spread safety, right? First to myself, to my son, to my siblings, to my mama. I want to provide safety to anyone who needs it, because safety is necessary. Safety is necessary for growth. Safety is necessary in order for you to be and become the best version of yourself. If you're not safe, you can't do that. But I'm willing to change that narrative. I've put in the work, y'all. I put it in. I've been working alongside my spiritual mother for a little bit, about 3 years. From her, I've been able to get in contact with coaches, work with some phenomenal coaches. And I've been diligent about my work. I've been diligent about it because I didn't want this thing to continue to take over my life. I didn't want all of those things, the implications, the skewed mindset, the false image. I didn't want the body shaming or the lack of self-love. And I didn't want that for the rest of Melvina's life. So I fought for my shit. I fought for my power. I fought for my voice so that I'm able to come to you and let you know you safe here. You safe in this space and place. And I have to give a shout out to a childhood friend. She had took some time to listen to my podcast and she sent me a message on Instagram. And she told me, she was like, I absolutely can feel safe with you. And if she can feel that from the airwaves, I know that others can too. Because that's why I'm here. It's so many precious women who've gone through what I've gone through and then some. And they've never been able to be confident enough to share their story, but most importantly, safe enough to share their story. Your voice is robbed. Your power is robbed. Your essence is robbed. Your innocence is robbed. But I want you to know right now, in this space, as you hear my voice, you can unpack it here. As you're listening, you can cry it out. You can journal. You can scream. You can confront your predator. You can do that in this space because it's safe. I want you all to take that with all of your heart, with all of your might. Do it for you. Do it for your children. Stop the perpetual damage that sexual abuse can cause by taking some time, connecting with someone that you trust, that you feel safe with, to unleash the pain, the anguish, the anger, the confusion, the perplexity. Connect with someone sooner than later because you owe it to yourself to be free from the bondage that thing can cause, because it can cause some bondage. But I want you to know that you are free. You're free to be you. You're free. You're free above that pain. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to deal with it and be with it. And you don't have to do it alone. There's a community out here for you. And I'm part of that community for you. I really am. I truly am. So that's what I wanted to share with you all today. And I wanted you to understand that because I've done the work, I've been given the mantle of being ransomed from that bondage. And I release over this podcast the ransomed mantle on you. You don't have to pay the price of what was done to you any longer. You don't have to. You can put that thing down in whichever way is therapeutic for you. And I hope you take what I'm saying to heart, because I mean every word. I truly do. And I want you to do all that you can to fight for yourself, for a freedom that you absolutely deserve. Do you guys know that we typically do a commercial and Q&A? But this time is going to be a bit different. I am going to end the podcast here. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Because again, I am a safe space. I love you all. Have a great week. And I'll see you on the other side of you now being ransomed. Peace and love and safety. Bye.